In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the new features of EasyStone version 2. Now, this video is primarily geared towards existing EasyStone users to show you what's new in EasyStone version 2. But if you're brand new to EasyStone, there's some good information in this video for you as well. So we have a brand new installation of EasyStone. We're going to go ahead and open it up here in the Macro Manager. And one thing that you'll see that is new and different is right here there is a link. This link, if you click on it, of course, will take you right to our website, easystonetemplates.com. If you shift click on that link, that will take you to all the video tutorials that we're going to have for version 2. So there's a specific playlist for videos that relate to version 2 of EasyStone, and we'll be adding to that over time. So if you ever want to check out the video tutorials that are specific to version 2, just shift click on that link and it'll take you right to our YouTube channel. So let's go ahead and go through some of the new changes here. First of all, here on the Stone tab, you're going to see two new buttons. One that says Delete Stone Paths and Select Stone Paths. I'll show you what those two buttons do here momentarily. Also, the Simulate function has been updated. Now, in the previous versions of EasyStone, Simulate function did work, although it was a little bit slow. And also it created a lot of temp files in our temp folder on our computer, and periodically we would have to go in and delete those temp files manually. So that problem has been rectified. So now Simulate function is much quicker and it doesn't create all those temp files. So a nice enhancement there. Over here in the Stone Fill tab, there's just a minor change which we'll show you here for the offset values, for the island fill and the offset function. Minor change there that we'll talk about. On the Selections tab, there is absolutely no differences there, so we don't really need to cover that. On the Editing tab, there is a minor change here, and that minor change is these break angle values for detecting corners. We give you some defaults to work with. We use 30 and 160 as the default angles, and you can use whatever value you want. If we enter a different value here and close the form, the next time we open it, we will have our new values that we entered, not the default values. So that's just a minor adjustment. Otherwise, functionally, everything else works the same. Over here on the Miscellaneous tab, here's where things are a little bit different. First of all, we have a stone use report. This was probably the most significant enhancement to version 2, was that stone use report. We always intended it to have it in version 1. It just didn't get in there. And so here in version 2, we want to make sure that we give you that stone use report. And we'll cover how that works here momentarily. Also, there are some changes here to the Add Bling function as well. We'll go ahead and open up Add Bling. And when we open up Add Bling here, you'll see that the interface looks a little bit different. And we have a new Soften the Bling function, which again we'll explain how that works. And then down here where it says Set Bling Shape, what that does is it will, if we don't set a custom bling shape, it's going to use a default bling shape. So at any rate, we'll go. That is a few changes there in that bling function as well. So let's go ahead and just get started. You'll see that we have a new library file, which is EST Standard version 2. And we'll go ahead and choose a stone size here. Now, this is something that's very important now. In previous versions, the SS size function really wasn't that significantly important. In most rhinestone programs, when you choose a stone size, which in this case we chose a 10 SS stone, in most rhinestone software, whatever stone size you choose, that will determine the actual size of the circle that the software creates. So for example, like in WinPC Sign, to create a circle for a 10 SS stone, we would pick like an SS12 stone because we need the circle, the physical circle, if we're going to create a template, we need it to be slightly larger than a 10 SS stone. Well, here in EasyStone, it doesn't work that way. We're going to specify the stone size, which in this case is 10 SS, but that's for the name of the stone, not the actual physical size. So whatever we type in here in the size field, which is 3.4, then it will create 3.4 millimeter stones for a 10 SS. So let me just explain this visually for you. So let's go ahead and type in some values here. So we're going to go ahead and create a couple of objects, and you'll better understand what we're getting at here. So on our larger circle, let's go back to the stone tab, and we're going to choose add stones, which we've done now. And now we're going to switch this to SS6. Now when we change that to SS6, notice in the size field has stayed exactly the same. So we're going to actually choose a different color here. We'll choose fuchsia, and let's change our size to 2.6 and click on this circle and choose add stones. Okay, so now we have SS6 stones and we have SS10 stones. If we zoom in here, you're going to see that path right there that the stones are applied to. If I change my path, so I can just come in here and I can change my path, and you can see now I've skewed all of these. All I have to do is just click add stones again, and it will fix that up. Let me just stretch this again, and we'll just choose add stones again. There we go. So now you can see it's modified the stones along that path. So that's kind of neat option to have. If I come in here and I stretch this out and make a duplicate of it, and then I can add stones to it too. Now if I grab the stones here and I pull out, see now I'm dragging not the path but the stones themselves. You see that? And so now this stone's bigger, right? But I can come in here and let's just change the size of this to 4.4, and I'll click add stones, and you can see it changed that. So very easy to make those modifications. Now what we're going to do here is this right here, we're going to actually change that to SS16, and let's give that, well, let's change it to blue zircon. Okay, so made a small change there, and this right here, I'm actually going to go back to SS6. Oh. And let's make it crystal. So again, we'll choose add stones there. Now notice I'll go back in here and change my stone size. There we go. All right. So now I'm going to select all of these. Now, right now there's a path for each set of stones, right? So we have a new function in here that says delete stone paths. You just click on it. All the stone paths go away, and now every stone is a separate stone. So now when I select all of my stones, I'm going to go over here to the miscellaneous tab and use this fancy new stone use report. And when I do that, we get stone use report. So you can see it tells us the design size. It tells us that we are using crystal SS6. There's 81 of them. The blue zircon, there is 71 of those. The cobalt blue, there's 170 of those. And the fuchsia, there is 95 of those, for a total stone count of 417 stones. And we do have a function here that clicks on add to document, and it adds all that information to our document. So that's kind of handy feature. And then also we also have another function in here where if I come in here and choose the stone use report and we click on add dimensions, you can see it will add the dimensions of that design dead center of the design below. So that's kind of a handy feature too when we're making our images for the website and what have you, our proof images that we send to our customers and so forth. There is one other thing I wanted to point out, and that is, let's just take these, just a few of these stones here. We're going to come in here, change that to SS16, and then we're going to change that to crystal, and we'll come over here to the rename and fill. Okay, so now we have a few SS16 stones, and we have a few SS6 stones. This is just a minor thing I just wanted to point out to you, that, you know, we think ahead a little bit. So now when we come over here to our stone use report, if we look at the stone use report, notice it categorizes all the different stone colors and sizes. So first, because crystal is the most common color, will always be at the top of the list. So you see crystal SS6, and then crystal SS16, and then everything else is alphabetical. So we have blue, cobalt blue, and fuchsia. But crystal will always be grouped, and if we had more than one blue zircon size, they would all be listed in order. 6, 10, 16, so forth. So just a nice, tidy little stone use report for you there. So go ahead and exit out of that. And let's go back over here to the stone tab. Now, if we simulate all of these, we'll just click on and hit simulate. You'll see it goes fairly quickly. And it'll pop up here and say that simulation is complete. And you can see that the simulation, all those stones have now been simulated. So it definitely works faster than it did in previous versions. If we hold our shift key down and click on simulate, then it will desimulate. And now you can see that the stones are no longer simulated. So just a minor change there, but definitely a nice one on the simulate function. So then what we can do is we can take a look at the add bling function here. So let's go ahead and I'll tell you what, let's delete all of our cobalt blue here, get rid of those. And let's add a weed box behind our design. And then let's go back in and simulate. So there is simulation is done. And then let's come in here and add some bling. So this is a new feature here. It's changed up a little bit. We're going to use 10 for the bling size. We're going to add 10 bling shapes. And then we're going to set the bling color. And we're just going to use the default bling shape. So we'll just click on add bling. And you can see that it just add these little sparkles. They added them in yellow, and that is because, let's go ahead and quick select bling and delete all of those. And we'll add bling shapes again, but this time we will set the bling color and we will click on that checkbox. So now when we add bling, we add little white sparkles. Now you can see these bling shapes are added as vectors, and some people like that, and some people don't. I like them to be softened, so I chose this option, soften the bling. And I'll go through and soften those bling shapes, so if we look at them, they look a little bit more realistic, because now they've all been converted to bitmaps and not vectors, and they've been softened a little bit. So just a minor change there on the adding of the bling. So we'll go ahead and close that out. And that's pretty much all there is to the new changes. So the simulate function's new. The delete stone paths and select stone paths buttons here on the stone tab are new. And then of course the stone use report and the modifications that we did here for the add bling function. So we hope you enjoy the new EasyStone version 2. We'll have some additional video tutorials on utilizing some of the new features here in version 2. And look forward to releasing version 3 here shortly with all the new features we packed into EasyStone. Thanks for watching.